Hi, Stephen here from Sound of an Ocean Wave, and this is day 7 of the November daily draws. So as we close out the week and approach the weekend, let's see what message we get. And I'll be taking the first card from the Forest of Enchantment Tarot, followed by an Oracle card from the Forest of Enchantment Oracle. So let's choose our first card and get the reading underway. Okay, here we go. We have the 9 of challenges, and if we remember, the challenges are the swords in this deck. So this is the 9 of swords. This is the nightmare card, the worry card, the anxiety card. And it could be that we may have to deal with some of these anxious thoughts that play on our minds and things that take on an intimidating sort of shape to us. We have to be careful that we don't let our thoughts play on our minds to the degree that we imagine all sorts of things that aren't really there. And if you look here, the tree is taking on the shape of this figure here. At the end of the day, I mean, it's probably just a tree, and it may not even be just appears like that, particularly in the moonlight, can cast upon it, and all the other things that are around, and he's hiding under the tree root here, taking cover, and not wanting to move. I don't know if you've seen the Lord of the Rings movies, the first one, I believe, the Fellowship of the Ring, where you have the hobbits taking refuge underneath a log, like similar to this, as the figures in black and the horses sort of like that are in search of the ring, that work for Sauron. There's a name for them and I can't remember what they're called. There's about 12 of them. There used to be the kings that had the 12 rings of men or something like that. And they had to stay very still so they couldn't be detected, and so until they passed by. That's what this little image reminded me of. And sometimes we can sort of shrink and try and take refuge until we feel that all the nasty stuff is past. It causes us to lose. We're paralyzed by fear and we don't move. We don't take any action. Hi, Stephen here. I'm having to film this part again because when I stopped recording and went to upload, the last half of the video was missing. So I'm going to have to try and carry on from where I left off up to where the video went to, and then continue. So let's do that. And of course, I did, in fact, draw the Oracle card, so you won't see me draw that, and I'll show you what it was. But you did in fact see, you saw me draw this in the previous video that did save properly. So we were talking about, anyway, it's given me a chance to actually expand on what I was just saying about when I was referencing Lord of the Rings, and I was saying when Frodo and Sam and co were hiding under the tree stump, whatever, and I was talking about the figures in black on the horses that were searching for the ring, that were coming after Frodo, and I've Death Riders or ring wraiths or Nazguls, the interchange. It wasn't 12; it was 9. It was to represent the 9 men that bore the 9 rings given to men. That's not really important, but it gave me a chance to find that. And I was saying that they had to be very still, they daren't move, otherwise they'd be detected, so they were almost paralyzed from action. And we can be like that when we have these kinds of thoughts, these nightmarish thoughts, these anxious and fearful thoughts. It could stop us from acting. It doesn't necessarily physically paralyze us, literally, but it may stop us, doing something, saying something. It can stop us from doing a lot of things because we're intimidated and fearful of what we feel the circumstances has become, the foreboding, we daren't move, put a foot wrong because it seems as if we could be detected and pounced upon at any moment. It is a nightmare scenario. This is sometimes called the nightmare card, or often seen with the person in the bed, usually a young lady in the bed that can't sleep, that's got her head in her hands, and all the nightmarish imagery around her. And so it's having to deal with the thoughts, and particularly the distorted sense of reality. Yes, there may be genuine things that we have to deal with that are challenges, which just means it's a good name for this suit, because there's nothing more challenging than trying to get a grip of your thoughts, of your mind, and keep the clarity and focus you need, and stop getting these intrusive, impeding thoughts coming into your mind and blowing things all out of proportion, which often is the case. That even if there is an element of truth, not always, sometimes we can just make things up and imagine a scenario where there's no basis at all, but often the most convincing ones are based on the ones that have an element of truth, but they are distorted and magnified and they loom over us. And we need to see them in reality. We need that little bit of revelation, that bit of clarity we've been talking about, so that it's like we're going to hide until the sun comes up and we have the light of day, which makes things a bit more clearer and less spooky, less intimidating. And then we can see things as they really are, and that can help diminish some of these looming things that come over us in these times of anxiety and fear. So I then drew, of course, the oracle card, and we ended up with the fairy godmother. And it's like she comes in to bring us a bit of light here. Look at the sweep of light and the beam of light and the warmth and the smile, that positivity that comes in to sweep away some of that gloom and that some of that fear instilling gloom that we have here in the woods here. She comes in the midst of that. And that's what we need. So that's what we need, to try and find something to act like a fairy godmother, to bring a sparkle of positivity into our situation that we can latch onto and focus on, that gives us a bit of more confidence and courage to move forward and do the things we have to do. So I feel that the cards are saying to us today that don't let your thoughts get magnified to such a degree that they distort your sense of your perception of reality to the degree that it makes you overly anxious, it makes you fearful, and stops you doing the things you need to do or saying the things you need to say, communicating when you stay silent because you're full of fear. And we all have those times where we want to do or say something and we hold back. But the fairy godmother is there watching over us and bringing us that light, almost granting us a wish as well, that you can have what you want. Don't let this negative foreboding prevent you from accepting what it is that you want in your life. Go for it. And she's there to give us the encouragement and a little bit of an aid when necessary. And the universe will do that for us. And that's what I feel the cards are saying to us today. Okay, so that is today's message. And I'll be back tomorrow with day 8. Until then, thank you for listening. Sorry about the technical issues. Hopefully everything will be better tomorrow. Until then, thank you for listening. Take care, everyone. And I'll see you all again very soon. Okay, bye-bye.